So the last video that I done was about a decision that I need to make this weekend, or at least this week, on what I'm going to do about retirement. Because I am getting close, I'm certainly close in myself. This isn't like a continuation of that, but it's a continuation of my thought process around it. But if you want to give that one a watch, I will link it up here somewhere. I'll also link to it at the end of the video to make it easier. So what I've started doing over sort of last night and into today is I've started to do a kind of audit, if you like. I'm going really into all my expenses and my credit card bills and every bit of money that goes out, to try and do this full audit so I know, well, what do I need? What do I really, really, really need to be able to retire? Sorry, it's a bit treacherous around here. And to get that actual figure so I know exactly what I'm really going to require rather than guesswork. And as part of that audit, I actually found a little gold mine. So in that, I came across this BG Services transaction been going out of my account for the last, I don't know, 5 years, 6 years, maybe longer. And it's one of those ones that we all have, those subscriptions that we don't really know what they are, but genuinely they're quite small. And we do forget about them. And this is what saps your money. And this one was £88 a month. And I've just never known what it was. So, you always go, well, it's £88 a month. It must be an insurance or something. And it turned out it was British Gas Services. And it's British Gas Services where if you've got a problem with your gas supply, electricity, whatever it may be in your house, then this covers for that eventuality. Now, I've never used this. We've owned this house now for 16 years, and I've never used this British Gas Services. So somewhere online I got conned into, conned strong, but I got persuaded, shall we say, to taking out this insurance. And so I cancelled it. Cancelled it, £88 a month, which is, albeit about just over £1,000 a year. So just one little tweak in my plan, and I've saved £1,000. So it shows where if you can do an audit on what you're spending, you can find some real good wins. And so that was a good one that I found. And to be honest, over the years, I've built up quite a good network of tradespeople, to be honest. I've got a good plumber, I've got a good electrician, I've got a good handyman, I've got a good builder. I've got these people that I've been using a lot over the years. And specifically when I got the bungalow ready for rent, because a lot of work had to be done on it. So I've got quite a good network. And I think a good network of tradespeople is kind of worth more than any insurance policy in that area that you could need. So that's quite good. I sort of thought, so I'm really chuffed with saving that kind of money, because that's a fair chunk a year. So part of this audit, what I'm going through is I'm trying to work out what I can actually afford to pull in each year from my current financial status. So my pension, my bungalow, rental, ISAs, all that kind of thing. So I've worked out that with this 25% tax-free allowance you get, if you like, on your pension, you can do this thing called, I always get this wrong, UEL, I can't remember what the pronunciation is, but basically you can take a 25% lump sum of your pension, and be done with it, or you can draw it down over time. So you can take smaller sums and include the 25%. Now, it's one I need to get financial advice on, and I advise anybody to get financial advice on this. But so the plan is that I'm going to take, I think it works out around £16,000 a year out of a pension. Now, if I was to take £16,000 a year, that would mean that, I'm going to walk back this way, but that would mean that 12,500 of that would be my tax allowance, and the other 4,000, 3.5, 4,000 would fall into this 25% tax bracket. So don't obviously quote me on figures. I'm kind of still in the echelons, if you like, of working this out myself. But it basically means I can get £16,000 a year. So £16,000 a year, great. That together with obviously working out my full audit of what my outgoings are, that's an important one. And then I guess from there are many other avenues open to me. So I've got my rental coming in from the bungalow. Now, I'll live with you. That's around about £14,000 a year. Okay, around £14,000 a year. So net that off, you're looking at what, 11,000? So add that to my 16. I've £27,000 there, net figure, you know. And if I pair that to what I've said before to other people, and on this channel many a time, a part-time job. If I go and get a part-time job that's worth £10,000 a year, so we say, then all of a sudden, 8,000 net. So what are we on now? We're on 16, we're on 11, we're on 27, we get 8 from part-time income. We're looking at £35,000. £35,000 net. Now, we're not a million miles away from where I need to be. Now, yeah, I'll be honest, that doesn't include my wife's income. So we need to look at that separately, but then it doesn't include her pension either. So that's a complete separate figure. But I've wrote notes down so I remind myself, by the way. Add to that for any rainy day, if you like. I've got £40,000 currently in ISAs. Probably giving away too much here, but hey. Which will be £60,000 by the end of next tax year. So by the end of this tax year, I'll put another 20,000 in. It gives me £60,000. So that's a £60,000 buffer that I've got if I need to top up for a few years. Now, I'm not all about topping up a lot of money. That's going to be a fair chunk. And I'm only looking at this bridge, don't forget. So I'm 58 now. If I was to retire at 59, I'm looking at an 8-year bridge. Now, an 8-year bridge, even if I took like £6,000 a year out of the ISA to top it up, we're still only looking at £48,000. £6,000, 8 years, yeah, £48,000, aren't we? So, this is doable. I think the more I look at this thing, the more I go, do you know what? It's more doable than I thought. So big week for me, and finding that British Gas £88 made a big difference. Just £1,000 on my year salary, if you like, that I thought I needed to find, and I didn't. So, and also the ISAs, I guess, I keep that separate. So the ISAs are a slush, if you like, that I want, but they're separate from my backup. So that the 2-year backup, if markets were to fall, that I've spoke about before as well, that's separate. I've got 2 years of that separate from the ISAs. So I'm getting to the point, I think, where I need to understand. I need to talk to myself through this, because if I can reduce my cost even further, which I think I can. We've all got those subscriptions, haven't we, that we forgot about over the years that keep continuing to come out. If I can eke out some more of that, because I was starting at a cost base around £48,000 a year net, and I've already lost that down to 47. I reckon there's a bit more to go. So, and I think 48 was it was a finger in the air. Okay, this wasn't any sitting down and working out what I actually needed, believe me. So I don't know what I need, if I'm honest. But so I guess that's really it. I mean, it continues from the other one about doing that full audit on it. And I'm really close to making a decision now on where I go. And I do need to make this decision because I need to order a new car in the next month. Yeah, if I'm going to get a car by September, I'm going to need to order a car in the next month. So yeah, the decision's getting closer. Again, I said, not tax advice in any way, shape or form. It's just me thinking out loud, probably boring you all. I do apologise. And right at the end of this, I will put that other video there if you want to hear me rambling more. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.